Sophie Hannah.
I'm Anissa.
And I'm Lauren. Welcome to episode 39 of Ethnically Speaking, the show where we discuss everything affecting the UK's highly melanated communities, from current affairs to pop culture and everything in between. We always keep it 100, and today we're talking about how diversity behind the camera affects the appearance of diversity in front of it. Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, is US Vogue's cover star for February. But the picture has come under fire for its bad lighting and poor styling. This isn't the first time a mainstream magazine has been criticised for its photography of black women, with Vogue already being lambasted for its cover feature of Simone Biles and for Vanity Fair receiving heat over its portrayal of actress Viola Davis. Do you think mainstream magazine need to rethink the diversity of their creative teams? Or with print fading and digital taking over, can a bad picture simply be fixed with retouching or filters?
I think that there definitely needs to be more diversity behind the camera. Not just the people taking the pictures, but the makeup artists, the hairstylists, like lighting, everybody. Like when you hear someone who is like a seasoned actor, like Gabrielle Union, saying that for years she's been taking her own hairdresser to sets with her, I'm just like, she's been in this game for 20 years at least, right? And she has to still do that just to make sure that she doesn't end up in the hands of someone behind the camera who doesn't know what they're doing. So there definitely needs to be more diversity behind the screen. But in terms of in fact, let me go back to that one. But I think there also needs to be diversity in the hiring processes and the people at the top, because I think what we're seeing now is that it's the people who are making the decisions once those people are behind the cameras. Because the person who shot Kamala Harris, Ty Mitchell, he was the same person who shot Beyonce for the Vogue cover in September in Vogue US, and he's black. The first black person to ever photograph someone for the front cover of Vogue US magazine. And it didn't matter because he wasn't the person who got to make the final selections on the pictures. So there needs to be people who are black in the decision-making chairs for even the people behind the camera to make any difference. It's a long line that we need to see a change. And I don't think that filters are really going to help. I think that in order to use a good filter, you need to have good lighting. So there's only so much you can redo in the edit room. That's why they make such a big deal about making sure they're getting the good lighting and this and that, because there's only so much you can do before you have to edit and strain the picture or the image beyond the realm of what it can be if you're not really working with all those kind of natural lights and placing and shadows and all of that. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a bit of an unpopular opinion about this. Simply because when I saw the commotion originally about the Kamala Harris cover, I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then I saw it, I was kind of like, I'm almost confused about what the outrage is. And it was simply because I just didn't think that the pictures were that bad. And I also didn't think the pictures were that bad of Simone Biles. And the only reason why in my mind I was thinking, oh, these aren't bad, is just because I thought, it's Vogue. It's maybe like their creative freedom. This is what they wanted their vision to look like. And so maybe obviously it doesn't look the best for the person, but this might be the actual vision they want. And it's kind of like, well, who am I to tell somebody how to do their art, But with all that being said, I do 100% believe that we do need more people of colour on the creative teams, behind the cameras, etc., and not just shooting for people of colour, but for everyone. And that's just the general thing of, we're artists too, we have visions too, we are directors, we are lighters, like we have so many talents that there should be room for us in every kind of place behind the camera, and we can offer great perspectives, not just for people that look like us, but for everyone. So that's kind of why I feel like, yeah, we definitely need more people. And then in regards to the editing, for me, right, I think editing is incredible. I feel like you can really change something around if you want to, something that's not that good. You can really ramp it up if you have the good tools. However, what I've learned as someone who's been editing for the last couple of years, whether it's pictures, videos, radio, blah, 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 is although editing can transform something and really bring it to another level, you do need to start somewhere. And so you need to have at least one good shot one good audio. You need something to start, because as much as you like want to dress it up, if it's simply not good, then you're really never going to get anywhere with it.
I agree. I think I will never be the kind of person who would stand in the way of a team being more diverse. I think I really value the importance of it as someone who has been on the other side of casting and photo shoots and making sure that the people that are cast and the people that are being taken photos of have everything they need and have the right people around them. And I think as Sophie said, it goes the whole way through. You need diversity in the people that are in the cast, who are doing the casting. You need diversity in the people who are taking the photos. You need diversity in the people who are editing the photos. It takes a village to make something like this right. And I think that's maybe what is coming through. I'm a massive Vogue fan. Like, I still subscribe to the physical Vogue. I still get it delivered every month. Yeah, I'm a massive Vogue fan. I've never
met anybody that does that. I'm like surprised that you still use magazines. Honestly, I'm shocked, pleasantly surprised.
Only Vogue, and only because I really appreciate what they do and what they stand for, and it's a part of like history for me to have Vogue. I think it's really iconic, which why it also makes me kind of sad that like things like this are happening and like you get that backlash, because the UK Vogue did a really amazing issue in October, I think it was, which just had amazing photography of black women and men, and it looked amazing. So I know that they're capable of doing it. I know that they're capable of producing photos that really capture everything it is to be a black man and a black woman. And I just think they've really gotten unlucky here that they've done this with the Vice President of the United States, because of all the ones to go down.
What was wrong with the picture? I need someone to just clarify it for me. What was
specifically
wrong?
I'm going to tell you what was wrong with that picture. I'm going to tell you what was wrong with that picture. Number one, okay. The way she didn't look ready for the picture, and I'm talking about the picture where she had like the
she's
green,
standing like this.
Yeah, the green background and with the pink draping, which was like her sorority colours because she went to a HBCU. So those are her sorority colours, but it looks like she wasn't even ready. Like she had this awkward like face shape, and also one of the things that I think was Kamala's downfall in this picture is because she wanted to style herself. Her team wanted to style her herself. I would say so, because I think the picture that they went with in terms of that black suit, I don't think it really came across very well. I understand that she didn't want to give someone that sort of creative control because you don't know how it is that they're going to place you, but maybe having a bit of options in that, because this is Vogue. So chances are they're going to have really good styling. You could even maybe pick one of the stylists who you wanted to work with. And then she had her Converse on, which I didn't have a problem with, but she's known for wearing Converse. So it was supposed to give her that relatable look. For me, it was mostly that she didn't look ready for the picture, the draping and everything. It's like the picture's okay, but we're talking about Vogue. Like, this is the elite fashion magazine. It is number one. And the way that they photograph past people, especially the people on the front cover, she just didn't get that front cover sort of treatment. The second picture was slightly better, where she's wearing like the powder blue, I think it's a Michael Kors suit, and she had like the golden background. That was a better image. But in terms of what you get from Vogue standards, for me, I didn't think it was good enough. And I think Lauren said something very important, because I collect Vogue as well, but only British Vogue and only certain copies. But I am religiously collecting it ever since Edward Eineful has become the chief editor, because he's black and he makes sure that he has diversity on it, and he makes sure that people are looking right. Like, he does a bang up job, and I think it's a real fault in US Vogue, which is really the most elite of them all. Like, really is like the mothership of Vogue is US Vogue. It's the one that kind of has set the standard. And I think Edward Eineful is really showing how this can be done to really put everybody in the best position and the best light. And I think my biggest issue was the fact that it was actually Ty Mitchell who took the picture. Not because I have an issue with Ty Mitchell, But it really seems that when we finally do let some diversity in through the door, we let in one. Like, he shot Beyonce, who was also the other person, was the first, he was the first black photographer for that. And then now you got Kamala, oh, another black powerful woman, let's get Ty back. I'm like, why aren't we looking at other people who are out there? Why is it when one person of diversity comes through the door, that's the only person that people want to work with now? It's the only person that they trust to work with. And I think that's a real issue that I have with diversity, because I think AOC, who is American politician as well, and she's from an ethnic minority, when she was on the front of a magazine for, I think, for Vanity Fair recently, they got Ty Mitchell to do it, and he was the first black person to do it on there as well. And I'm just like, this whole thing about opening diversity but only open it for a select few, we need to open up the floodgates, because there's not just black photographers there. There are Asian photographers, there are East Asian, South Asian, Filipino, like there's all different types of people, and we just need to be much more diverse. Sorry, I feel very passionate about this.
No, I definitely felt you on that. So I agree, there should be much more people than the one person. But also at the same time, if they do have a favouring for Ty, I feel like we can't blame Ty for that. Do you know what I mean? He still
No, I don't blame Ty, but they set Ty up to fall with that picture, because even he came out when they released that picture and released the picture with her in the blue suit, saying he thought that this was the one that was going to be chosen, because it's his reputation that you're putting out there as well when you choose this picture that doesn't do justice to Kamala.
Well, the thing is, when I saw the two pictures, not to make it about the pictures, I agree with you, Sophie. She did not look ready when she was in the black suit. But then I just thought, which is probably going to be horrible, I just thought, maybe Kamala just doesn't photograph well. Like, maybe she just photographs awkwardly. And I know that's crazy to say, but what I'm saying is, like, in my mind, which I know is everyone else's mind, she's very different to Michelle Obama. Like, Michelle Obama is our fashion icon who serves us looks to the looks to the looks. So Michelle might give us on her Vogue cover, she was giving it to us. And I feel like the energy I always get from Kamala is she's like, not to say that like nerdy, nervous, awkward girl, but that's the energy I get from her. I don't get boss babe Michelle Obama. So when I saw the cover, I thought, well, this looks like Kamala to me. That was what was in my mind. I had to say it, but that was literally what was in my mind. This looks like Kamala to me. But I did prefer the blue picture because, as you said, she looked ready for it. So for me, that was the mistake that they made, because she didn't look ready for it. But I don't feel as if they, yeah.
Okay, Lauren, I want to speak to you specifically, because you said that you've kind of worked in this kind of environment, right? Like, people take 1,000,001 pictures. It is not down to the subjects to be camera ready, to be good in front of the camera. That's everybody else's job, to make sure that they're relaxed, you get a laugh and a joke, and you're clipping. We all know how long it takes to take one good selfie. This is a Vogue photo shoot. When Beyonce was on the cover of Vogue recently, she had 3 different covers. It was a 12-hour shoot to get 3 pictures. There is no excuse,
and you can't come camera ready.
No, that's what they have a team for. That's what.
No,
that's what
because if it was the team, then everyone would be able to be a model. Not everyone can take good photographs, and that's just the point.
Not everyone can. But this is Vogue. You need one picture. You need probably 10 good pictures to say these are the best 10. Lauren, please weigh in and tell us.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, Elisa, but I don't think we can put that on Kamala for it based on like her personality and like the differences between her and Michelle, because yes, Michelle is iconic in every way, but so is she, and she just has a different personality. And I feel like if she had the right people behind the camera, the right team working with her, the right people to make her comfortable, like Sophie mentioned, she chose what she wore in that first photo. And that makes me think, well, maybe she's not comfortable placing trust in the people who are clothing her, who are dressing her, who are making her ready for this photo shoot. And I think it's so much down to the team to build that relationship with her, to make her feel comfortable. And I hate to say it, but it is probably because of the people that were behind the camera and the kind of people they had on that team. And I think that's why I feel very strongly about diversity being a main factor in thinking about the creative teams at every single stage. because it's not down to the model, especially not someone who is as amazing as her. They haven't just pulled some random person
I'm
off the
not
street.
discrediting Kamala, but please understand the weight of what you're saying to me. I don't want to be rude about it, but you're telling me someone who is one of the world leaders because she was so uncomfortable. Like, come on. Like, I don't think Kamala is that, like, demure, and maybe she may have been uncomfortable with the people that were behind the camera, but I think she picked what she wore because she wanted to take control, and that's what made her feel good. But I think for other people, that wasn't Vogue standard, but that was Kamala standard. That's what I'm saying. I think Kamala was being Kamala, and that was what was photographed. But I can't sit here and honestly say that I think she felt nervous with the people behind the camera because she's the Vice President of America. I hope she doesn't feel nervous with photographers. Like, for me, that would just be far-fetched. Honestly, I wouldn't want a world leader that is nervous with a photographer. I just wouldn't.
I don't think it's nervous, but I think it's being able to... I don't think it's being nervous. I think it's them not being able to capture someone like her and bring out the personality from her that they needed to. A personality that is dissimilar to other people who are comfortable in front of the camera and who are, maybe a bit more extroverted, a bit more attuned to the situation. I think, I don't think it's down to her being nervous. The woman's helping to run the United States of America. I don't think this is something she would be nervous about. I just think she needed people there who would make her look and feel her best in front of the camera.
Yeah. And I'm like, for me, again, I agree with Lauren. Like, I don't think it's a thing about Kamala herself being nervous or not ready, because my point is the photographer is paid to get the shot. That is their job. So you have to be able to work with the people that you're doing it with and give some sort of direction to get what you want, because I really doubt that those were the only 2 usable pictures. And if they were, then there's an issue, because there should have been hopefully more. She's not a supermodel, so we're not expecting her to completely know her angles and this and that. But there are a lot of pictures that are pulled of Kamala on various news articles of her smiling and looking very nice, very presentable. So she can smile. She has a very nice smile. It's just what they picked wasn't reflective of the standard of Vogue magazine, in my opinion. And I think the diversity behind the screen, I think it really comes up as well in terms of Black women and their hair. I know this is kind of a sidestep, but it's only because of something that I found out recently. Like, do you guys remember High School Musical?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like the black girl that was on there, I've forgotten what her character's name was, but I think her name was Monique Coleman in real life. Monica Coleman in real life. And she used to wear a headband. And she recently came out because it was High School Musical's like 20th anniversary or something, or 15th anniversary, makes you feel hella old. But she was saying she wore the headband because there was nobody backstage to do her hair. It was white hairstylists that did it. And they literally messed it up so bad, she had to wear a headband to cover up in every part of the film what they had done with her hair. And I'm like, this is insane. And that's why we need to have diversity, because there's no reason why anyone who is of, well, let's say black, because we are the ones who really have a very different hairstyle, or sorry, hair texture.
Hair type.
Hair type to other people. Our one is noticeably different to deal with. And I think there is just such a big gap that needs to be filled for something that is so basic, because all the black hairstylists that I know, and I ask the same for you guys, they know how to do European hair as well. They can do all hair types. But it seems like there is a lack in terms of white hairstylists who are working with ethnic minorities in the print media, fashion shows, but they just don't know how to do those types of hair. And I think there's just a massive gap that needs to be filled.
Exactly. And I think when they have talent of different colour, I don't understand why when you hire someone, you wouldn't ask, well, can you do X, Y, and Z? Because I saw the High School Musical girl that you were talking about, Sophie. And very funnily enough, I saw the other day that Queen Latifah even said on the set of Living Single, she had to start doing her own hair because all her edges were being taken away. So she had to do her own hair on set of Living Single. I thought to myself, why is it so difficult to hire somebody who knows what they're doing for that particular audience? Like, it really isn't that tough to find somebody that can do hair. And you're very right, Sophie. Like, my hairstylist, who does my natural hair, he trained in a salon to do European and Afro hair. But on the flip side, I've also been to a little German woman, okay? And she took it upon herself to learn how to do Afro hair, was trained in Afro hair, and has done my hair, and she's done it wonderfully. So the point is, I feel like people can either upskill and you can diversify where you are, but they're actively not making choices. And I saw that, I think it was last year in Vogue, I think Anna Wintour basically admitted that they haven't basically made space for a lot of diverse people on the back behind the camera, and that they're actively trying. But I don't think, like in 2021, I don't think it has to take a bad cover or a social justice movement to make people think, oh, let's hire more diverse people. But unfortunately, that's just where we are with it.
Yeah, I just don't think it's enough. Like, we aren't doing enough as a people to find solutions here. You can't say that you're trying when things like this are still happening. You can't keep making the same mistake and not learning from it. It just blows my mind. I think you can't put it down to ignorance anymore either. Like, these are people being vocal about this issue. We're all talking about it. It's a very simple thing. Just hire people who know how to handle talent. Make sure they have the right support around them. We're asking for very little here. We're asking for the bare minimum. This is a photo shoot. This is hair. Like, just learn. Just learn. Because I you just need to invest your time. I'm fed up of seeing people just being like, I just didn't know. You knew, you just didn't try. Yeah, sorry, I feel very strongly
Do you know
about
what
it.
this just reminded me of? I once interviewed this plus size model, right? And she's like a black plus size model. And she was basically saying that she has to turn up on some shoots with her actual foundation, because a lot of the time they don't even have foundation for her. But I'm like, didn't they book you? I'm confused. So wouldn't the makeup artist have makeup for you? She said, no. So sometimes she's been to shoots where they've had no makeup for her. All they've done is put some eyelashes on and some lip gloss because they had no foundation, they had no concealer. And she's been in some pretty big campaigns. And I thought to myself, this is crazy. They know the talent they're booking, but they won't even equip her with what she needs, which is simple foundation. It's crazy.
I was going to say, guys, what do you think about going forward in terms of like print magazines? Do you think that they're eventually going to die out? Like, now that we're going more online and that we are seeing digital media kind of taking over?
I think, even though I'm someone who subscribes to a physical version of a magazine, I know I'm in the minority. I think digital is massively taking over. It's not something that we can deny. And I think that also kind of does give the power back to us, in the sense that we can control how we look for the most part. And although I don't believe that filters can change things massively, as we said, it's down to the picture itself. But I think digital gives us a really nice space to take ownership back of the content that we're putting out of ourselves.
Yeah.
I think magazines are going to become like that niche thing. I don't think it'll be something where a lot of people get it, but it's kind of like, oh, it's cool to collect magazines, and that's what the physical copies will be.
And I think that as well, like, I agree with you guys. Like, I love online. I love looking at pretty pictures. I love scrolling through some very nice artwork on Instagram for digital pictures, but I also love holding it in my hand as well and like flicking through the pages. I'm going to be really sad if it dies out, but I think there is a real need, just like we were saying, to have representation everywhere, because as much as we want more black people behind the camera, hopefully, as we were saying, like, white people, Eurocentric people can also be trained too. Because in terms of when I got married, I know we're getting to the end, but when I got married, I wanted a specific type of look for my wedding photos. And it wasn't a look that was synonymous with black photographers. So I wanted something quite dark and moody and real jewel toned, a bit kind of like whimsical type of look, and that wasn't really, I was difficult to find, and I wasn't even looking for black photographers particularly. I just wanted someone who was going to give me the look that I had, but it was really difficult because a lot of the white photographers I was looking for, and especially based where I got married in Devon, they had pictures of only white people on their websites, like nobody of color, and it really freaked me out because I'm like, are you going to be able to capture this predominantly black wedding and the people who were in it? And I really had to kind of trust that they were going to be able to capture us in the way that we wanted. And they did. The wedding pictures came out lovely, but there is real need for people of all ethnicities to learn how to work with all different types of groups of people. I'm really saying white people, if I'm being honest, because when we live in a predominantly white country, as black minorities, as Asian minorities, any other minority, we already know how to cater to the white people. We know how to cater to people who live here, but they need to now start to learn because we're growing in numbers, and yeah, we got our foot in the door.
I love that, Sophie. I think that's really important. Just everyone learn a new skill, learn how to level up and make sure that everyone is looking their best on camera, because who doesn't want to? And with that, thanks for watching and listening to Ethnically Speaking. Let's keep the conversation going. Do you think magazines need to rethink the diversity of their creative teams? Let us know in the comments below. If you want even more from us, make sure to subscribe to our email list for Extra Ethnic. It's a special segment where you can hear more from us. There's a link in the description below to sign up. And if you want a summary of everything that we've covered off in this episode, make sure you head on over to unitedmelaningroup.com/ES039. There's a link for that in the description below as well. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. You'll be seeing us again on Friday, but until then, wear a mask, wash your hands, keep your distance and stay safe.